Welcome, welcome. We're just giving folks a chance to enter the room, and then we'll get started here in just a moment. If you'd like to, you're more than welcome to turn off your mute and turn on your camera, and we can just talk to each other and interact for a few minutes. That would be fine. And would love to know how folks are doing. How is your school year ending for your kids? All right, don't make me call on people. Gretchen. Judith.
Hey, this is Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl. How are you?
Good. We're challenged, just trying to make it through. I have a ninth grader who is just done with school. And we've been dealing with some school avoidance as well that we're trying to work through. But, I think we'll get there. We have a plan in place. It's just getting him to cooperate, and be motivated, which is hard.
It is hard. Cheryl, I'm dealing with a senior who's struggling in the exact same way. He's been accepted to college. He is just shut down. He doesn't want to do anything. It's just been pulling teeth. Now, again, we also have a plan, and so this video or this webinar today will have a couple things that may help you. We'll see, but again, as after I get started here in just a moment, anybody who wants to share is more than welcome to do that. All right, Olga, welcome. How are you? Judith, Kelly, or Gretchen, do any of you want to say hello?
Hello, it's Gretchen.
Hi, Gretchen.
How are you?
Good. How's your situation going here at the end of the year?
It's going the same as it did the whole entire school year, which is not good. So we're looking forward to school being out. And the public school here has been trying as hard as they can with my 14-year-old. But it's just really difficult for him. So
it has been so hard. You're absolutely right. Okay, well, I'm going to get started here in just a moment, and folks can come in as they are available. All right, so if you want to, you can please turn off your mics, and I will get going. I played with a new format for this webinar, so let me just introduce myself. Hello, folks. I'm John Wilson. I'm SOAR's Executive Director, and I am delighted to have a chance to spend a little bit of time with you today. Today, we're talking about finishing the academic year strong, and this is both a how to deal with the now, how to look back, and then also how to look forward. And so let's get started. What's interesting about this workshop is that I've broken it down into 4 sections, and the first is going to surprise you. The first section we're going to talk about is how are you going to take care of you? Now, the second is we'll talk about supports for them. The third is we'll talk about ways to celebrate this year unlike any other year we've ever encountered. And then we'll wrap up the webinar with the ways that we can look forward. As it happened, I just finished a wilderness first responder course. And the first thing that we talk about is scene safety, or making sure that nothing bad is going to happen to us, or that we've done the things that we need to do to meet our needs. Because if I can't be the best version of me, right, I don't have the right tools or the right supplies or the right mindset, then I can't be in any kind of capacity where I'm going to be a particularly quality or solid advocate, supporter, or even mentor to anybody. And so, so let's talk about some ways that as somebody who is watching this video, you can take care of you, all right? The first one is make time for family and individual self-care. All right. So, and moms are particularly, this is a particularly difficult issue, at least to many of the moms that I know. And certainly my wife falls into this category. And that is that they're making sure that everybody's needs are met, and they just forget to make sure to take a little bit of time and meet their own needs. And so, at some point today, after you're listening to this webinar, I jot down a few of your needs that are not being met. Are they exercise? Are they nutrition? Are they relaxation? Are they, time with friends? What needs do you have that make you the best version of you that aren't being met? Another one to think about is, during the day, just occasionally take 5 or 10 minutes wherever you can, just to do something that is for you. It's not for your son or your daughter or your partner. It's for you, and make that a priority. Covey talks about sharpening the saw. There's the woodsman in the woods, trying to chop down a tree with an axe, and the guy says, well, God, that really seems hard. That seems to be taking a while. And the woodsman says, it is. The saw is dull. The axe is dull. And he says, well, why don't you sharpen the saw? And the woodsman replied, I don't have time. And so when your saw is sharpened, or when you are at your optimal level, you can do more for others and you can get through things easier and faster. But when you're tired and exhausted and you've forgotten about you, then it really is much harder to do anything for anybody else. Now, inversely, I would also say that it's just as important to spend 5 or 10 minutes with your child in quality time that has nothing to do with school related, and to take those breaks throughout the time that you're trying to help them transition through this really difficult time. The reason for that is that when the whole school thing can become so encompassing of our relationship with our kids that it becomes the dominating factor, and it puts us at an adversarial relationship with our kids, and that's not what I want. I want to make sure that we're not just harping them about their homework or their grades or the project that's due, or getting to school on time, or the extracurriculars that they have to be a part of. I want to make sure that I'm investing in quality time with my kids, talking about what's going on in their relationships with their friends. What have they seen a particularly funny meme or Snapchat or YouTube video lately that they want to share with me? And I just try and enter into their world for a little bit and do some relationship building. All right. So now that you're the best version of you, and you can provide support, and you've made sure your needs are met, now we can talk about ways that you can and your child can make sure that the support they need is there. All right. First of all, make sure that you still have all the supplies needed. It's been a year, and so you may be running out of tape, or you may be running out of staplers, or the right pen, or any of those resources, and that they both have them at home and at school. All right. Triple check their work, because right now, and I know this to be true at our house, my child needs me to be the external locus of control. It's not just enough to say, hey, make sure you get your homework done. I've got to check it, and then I've got to check it again, and then I have to make sure that it makes it to school, that it got turned in on virtual school, or it actually is a paper that got turned in. And I have to be an active part of that, much more so than I really wanted to be. All right. Another thing to remember is be prepared to provide extra support in helping complete assignments and end of year projects. My son's end of year project, speaking of saws, is to rehab one of those old crosscut saws, and I didn't even know where to start. And so, it's been a fun project that we've been working on, and he's taking video of it, and I can't wait to see the progress that we've made today. And we had an epic fail as we started. And it's interesting that working on those projects together with him has strengthened the relationship, and we're having a lot of fun with it. But I am making sure that I'm available and that he's getting the extra help he needs at the end of the year, because as I was sharing with someone before the webinar began, he's a senior and he's got the worst case of senioritis, and he really wants almost nothing to do with school right now. And I'm sure some of you are dealing with the same thing, and it's just so hard. We can't just throw up our hands and say, well, fine, then don't go, because obviously that's not a solution. But finding ways to keep them engaged and engaging with them can be part of the solution. I also, I think that, you know, if you've got a child who's struggling in a particular academic course, you know, it might be helpful to schedule an end of year meeting with that teacher and say, okay, you know, bottom line, what is it that you think he needs? How can I help? And actually create a plan with that teacher or teachers. Okay, I've got a few more here. Lead by example in both attitude and practice. If you get down about the end of the year and don't have the right attitude about it, that's going to continue to encourage and nurture their feelings of angst or avoidance. And then be engaging. You know, when my child was little, we couldn't go out to eat unless I was really willing to be fully engaged with them. And then things got better and we could go out to eat and they could entertain themselves. I'm here now at the end of school and I have to think the same way. I have to be more engaged than I have been, because at the end of the year, kids are doing this thing called terminating. They recognize there's a transition coming and they are losing interest in the here and the now. And let's hope your teachers are doing the same thing. They know that there's an extraordinary number of things that they can do differently that are going to, pardon me, that are going to help them keep the end of the year interesting, and so that and they're maintaining both that attitude and practice of being supportive and moving forward. This is one of my favorites: practice the body double. And this may be the best piece of advice I give you, and it is one that has been life-changing for me and my family. The body double is simply this: somebody's in the room. You don't have to be helping, but just having someone in the room. You know, I recently was cleaning up my garage and I was just stuck, and my wife came out and sat down and just started picking at things and helping. But just the fact that there was another person there made all the difference. She went inside, and then my daughter came out, and before I knew it, I had the project complete because I wasn't alone. And just simply because somebody else was in the room allowed me to be more productive. You know, there's something I call the scud hour. And when you're part of the routine is that they're doing homework from, let's say, you know, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, then nobody is doing anything fun. Everybody from 7 to 8 is doing something that they don't necessarily want to be doing. It could be, you know, paying bills. It could be catching up on, you know, getting the kitchen clean, or it could be something, but nobody is getting to relax, have fun, watch TV, play on the internet. Everybody's involved. Pardon me. Everybody's involved in something that they don't really want to be doing. And then finally, I think it's just critical. You've had a routine. You've had a wake up time. You've had hygiene time. You've had homework time. Do not let go of that routine right now. The routine is critical. As much as you can, stick to the routine. Structure equals consistency. Consistency equals success. Okay, the next area that we're going to talk about is how do we celebrate this year like no other that we've ever had, because it really has been an extraordinary year. All right, so I've got a couple of thoughts here. The first is, you know, create a memory board of your child's best moments with photos and notes. And that could be online, it could be an actual poster board, it could be anything, but take time to smile and laugh and celebrate it having survived the year. even for those of you that the year has been miserable, there have been glimpses of hope, and there have been glimpses of moments that things actually worked. Work with your child to pick out a gift for the teachers they want to thank. And be a part of that with them. What teachers do you want to thank? Because those teachers, again, my wife is a teacher and she certainly appreciates being appreciated, but the gift is in the child actually getting a chance to be a part of that process. And then that encourages them to reflect on the lessons learned and the gifts given to them in practice, knowledge, and support by the teachers that they want to say thank you to. And that's an important thing to reflect on. I would also encourage them to write a letter reflecting on the lessons learned to the teachers that they really especially appreciated. And then I would keep that letter as a copy of that letter as a reminder later. Because sometimes going back and reading a letter that you wrote to somebody, or a video that you recorded for somebody, can be really quite powerful to look back at that and say, wow, you know what? It wasn't as awful as I thought, or perhaps it was. But I think that getting a chance to, in some form, have your child say thank you to the people that help make this year a success for them could be really healthy. Got a few other thoughts on the subject. I think you really want to, celebrate any relationships that were created or survived through the challenges of being apart physically. Perhaps there was a new mentor or a therapist that that became a part of your world, or perhaps there was some activity that they became a part of online that had a new online presence, or some friends that they developed, or maybe there was a new relationship that they created, or they had to look a little bit closer to the neighborhood and they made a new friend. But but I would think seriously about what this year was like, and if any unique or interesting opportunities and relationships came from that, and then make sure that you get a chance to sort of think about that and reflect on that for a moment. I love the idea of thanking people for how they helped you and your student through this tough year with a handwritten card, video message, or call. We talked about your child being a part of that, but I think that it's just as equally important for you to do the same thing. Because when you think about what it was that you went through as parents this year, it was extraordinary. I mean, we became our kids' teachers. We had to invest a ton more time, but there were people along the way that gave us the support and the help that we needed. And writing a thank you note to them would not only feel good to do, but I'm sure is also a really nice, healthy step in being able to celebrate what you learned this year and what you had a chance to accomplish. And then I think it's important not just to simply focus on some comparative metric of where a student should be, but also point out and celebrate how your child improved at a skill. This is, there are three things that I really think are important when you're looking at success. The first is, what did it take to get to a place of success? And that's called effort. And sometimes we can't control the results, but we can control the amount of effort that we give. And and when your kids have given really quality effort, I think it's really important to focus on that. The second is improvement in a skill. Like, I may not have gotten the A that I was expecting, but can I do these set of skills now in a way that I couldn't before? What did I learn? And then, of course, the third is, results. Did I make an A, a B, a C, a D? And so that's a fairly broad continuum. And I think each one of those components has to be examined and looked at independently, because they all have such different components. You can, anytime you give praise for effort, is going to be much more, there will be a much greater opportunity that continued effort will be intrinsically generated to do, because I can control my effort, and I really love that people appreciate it about me. Sometimes I can give all the effort in the world, and I'm not going to have the success that I wanted, or that and it's simply because either my ADHD kicked in and I had a memory lapse, or it could be that I'm just not getting the material. But I'm trying, doggone it, I'm trying. All right, and the last one we're going to talk about is looking forward. And quite frankly, I think this is the one that is going to have the most value for you. All right, because I think when we end by looking at what the beginning is, another Covey, begin with the end in mind. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is, how do you create a transition plan bridging the next year and know what to expect in the fall? All right, because I think that has to be a part of what you're doing at the end of this year. Many of you are about to transition into the summer, and and you've got your summer plan together, but you don't really yet know what you're going to be dealing. Oh, sorry about that. You don't really know what you're going to be dealing with yet in regards to the fall. Are they transitioning to a new school? Is the school plan to be virtual, or are they all going, like many are, to full-time enrollment at the school? And I think that that by doing that, and you create those expectations, it allows you to help create a transition plan that'll help you make that bridge. Because when kids know what to expect, they tend to do much better. I also think it's great to make a calendar for the end of the year and into the summer with significant dates highlighted for everybody, and post it someplace everybody can see it. That calendar becomes your Bible. And many of you do great calendars, but if you don't have one up yet, it's time. It's and I would also then encourage family members, when they say, hey, when is that first session of summer camp? It's on the calendar. Teach folks to access the resources. And then make sure on that calendar that you've added a special family dinner celebrating the year. Again, all of you know this. It's been a year unlike any other that we've ever had. And getting through it requires some measure of celebration. And so I would certainly encourage you to do so. I also think that that you're going to want to create one or two reasonable and reachable goals for the end of the year, and really kind of think about how you want those to achieve those goals, and then how you're going to celebrate those goals once they're accomplished. You remember back when we talked about that meeting with your end of year meeting with a teacher in a subject that your child may be struggling with? This is a great time to kind of say, okay, if you had one goal for my son or my daughter by the end of the school year, what would it be? And then track them, keep track of them, keep supporting them, and then be ready to celebrate them. All right, we've got 4 more here. Have your child get the contact information from the peers they want to engage with over the summer. Again, perhaps there were some new relationships that were built, but if the school isn't going to provide a phone list, make sure in these last few weeks that you're getting some of those numbers. Have you registered for summer camp? All right. Give me a, just in the chat bar, let me know if you've registered for summer camp. And it doesn't necessarily have to be SOAR, but if you haven't, why not? Summer camp is such an extraordinary opportunity for kids to learn and grow and kind of get outside themselves a little bit. Our registration is off the charts. We've shut down an awful lot of our courses. All right. The next one I'm going to mention is get your summer routine and schedule ready to have your child and have your child participate in the development of that summer routine. What's wake up time going to be? What's are they going to have the responsibility chart? Are they going to have a week that they're responsible for doing the dishes? How's that all going to rotate? Be thinking about what your summer routine and schedule will look like, and make sure that your kids are part of its development, all of your kids, because again, when I get a chance to be on board with the process of creating something, then I certainly am going to have a chance to be much more invested in how that's going to go. And then the last one is including that schedule, again, wake up times, responsibilities, daily routine, bedtime. So those are just a couple thoughts that I have about things that you can do to help wrap up the end of the year in preparation of your summer and the next school year. I would like to thank all of you for attending. I really appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to connect with you. And I would like to remind you that that next month we have another webinar, and we'll go out, an email will go out with what that webinar is. I don't have it here right here. That's embarrassing.
June's webinar is Summer is Here, Now What?
Okay, summer's here, now what, now what? And we'll talk about some ideas for what you can do during the summer to make summer fun at home. And then I'll review some opportunities that I'm aware of. By June 8th, I suspect that we may be completely full. All right, folks, be well, take care, have a wonderful, wonderful week, and thank you for tuning in.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Johnny.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.